everybody, and welcome to Superhero Speak, the greatest podcast on all of the internet. I am your host, Dave.
And I'm a very happy host, Don.
Very happy, huh? Some things happened that made you happy, I think. I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Something maybe you've been bitching about for a while. Happened.
I'm legitimized.
While we were live on Wednesday.
Yeah, I know. What bad timing.
Yeah, damn Marvel. Yeah, I mean, let's not waste a lot of time. This is what is on deck for tonight. I am all caught up on Invincible. I finished season 3 today, so we will be talking about that. We got a tiny bit of DCU news that seems fairly significant. Bradley Cooper is going to be in the Superman movie. We'll be talking about that. And of course, we got a lot to talk about. The Avengers Doomsday cast was introduced in the video that went live while we were live on Wednesday. Now I know why no one was watching us on Wednesday. Right. You guys were all watching the Marvel stuff and going crazy on that. I can't blame you. So yeah, we're going to be talking about all of that. But before we get into all of that, how are you doing there, Donnie boy? What is new in your world since we were last live?
Well, I celebrated my 11th wedding anniversary with my lovely wife. So love you, honey. And been doing pretty good. In fact, I bought 1/8 of a steer, for some ground beef and steaks and whatnot. But before I go to pick it up today, my freezer that's in the garage that was going to store all that shit took a shit. So yeah, so I had to pack. I do have like a camping cooler that's will keep shit for like 7 days. So I packed it in there, put some ice in there, and we'll go fucking buy a freezer here in the next day or so. So the highs and lows of life. Yes. How about you, Dave? How you been doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Oh, you know what? I forgot to load something in our media assets that I wanted to show the world. Geez. Anyway, I'll do that maybe during one of the breaks. But yeah, I can't complain. Been busy. Not busy with work though.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's been very slow at work, and it's annoying. But what are you going to do about that? But just trying to get some stuff done in my personal life, tax season and all that fun stuff, and of course trying to do stuff for the podcast. Yeah, I mean, I was going to say something at the end of the show, but I sat down with Thomas Mavilli. I think that's how you say the name. Independent comic creator on Friday. I interviewed him. It was a great conversation. And actually, after we were done, we ended up talking about the cast as well for Doomsday for a little bit. And a really nice guy, really knows his stuff. He did work for Marvel and Hasbro for many years. So he's really into all of this, and just decided one day he wanted to do his own comic and created his own imprint to do it. So yeah, doing stuff like that, trying to get people to watch this damn little show, and painting. I've been doing a lot of painting lately. So
it's good.
A couple were just posted on my social media. So, if you're following me over there, Dave's WB on Instagram, you can go see them. Go check them out. Like them if you do. It's what keeps me from going insane. But
we need something. You need something.
Yeah.
I don't know what exactly it is. Maybe it's the beer, video games. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, something. I was kind of hoping it was Invincible, but so I'm all caught up. Finished season 3 literally like an hour and a half ago.
Okay.
and I don't know what to say. It's I think part of the problem, in all honesty, right? Because don't they release it weekly, right? When it's live, right? Like they don't release it all
Yes.
the time,
Yes,
right? They
correct.
release like Disney Plus does,
Okay.
and I think trying to consume it all at once was too much because there
Yeah,
are so
I could
many
see that.
weird little subplots going on that once you think they're resolved, it's like nope. Like the guy with the portals, what's his
Yeah,
name?
the big brain guy who yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
got a weird name I'll never remember.
Just when you thought Mark had killed him, no, he found a universe that could rebuild him, and he came back with a bunch of marks, and like that really bugged me because that was episode 7. So there's 8 episodes per season. That was
Mhm.
episode 7, and they could have done some really cool things with these alternate marks storyline wise. But it was one episode, and basically they were all evil, and that was it. Like there was no plot to it at all in that aspect, and I felt like that was a missed opportunity. And I kind of feel like, and here's part of the issue I think too. It's when you're adapting, trying to stay true to a comic and adapting it to a TV show, and there probably was more drawn out stuff in the comics. So with that, but no, in the show, it's one episode. Here are all these marks destroying the world, and then boom, it's done by the end of the episode. And it's like, really? And if they don't, um, here's Frosty saying, "Good evening, Vegemites," and hello to Gassan too. He's in the
Oh,
middle of
hello.
his religious holidays, so he will be in and out. He said,
Dig
"Understood."
it. Dig it.
Um, so like that's one of the things I find frustrating with the show, you know, and I feel, and like here's the thing, right? They have all these little subplots that feel like they don't ever resolve. They do like quick little stories with them, and then they seem to like disappear. Um, and then like we take time out of episodes to like I think it was episode 3. There was the 2 villains, and they did a whole montage thing. It was almost half the episode with no
Mhm.
talking of these 2 um, gay villains that were falling in love while they were committing crimes. And then there's a whole montage in episode 6, I think it was, of the season of um, Adam or Eve and Mark falling in love, like them dating and them showing them like floating around, and it's just like you're gonna like not flesh out stories that are interesting, and you're gonna stop for the CW crap of and it's like uh, you know what? Okay, I'll give Kassan this. He's saying sounds like I want more Invincible. I think number one, the seasons probably should be longer. And 2, right, like either resolve these little subplots or stop them, or just don't have some. But they keep adding them. Now we've got the alien invasion coming. We've got some kind of demon at the end of episode 8 coming. That and what else? Oh, and of course, what's the guy's name? The big guy that he fights in the 8th episode.
Conquest.
Conquest. He has this the whole episode is just them fighting. You find out Eve is more powerful than you realize, but she's got these things restricting her power in her. So does that make her see? That's what I was wondering. Like, so she quote unquote dies, but then comes back, right? So I'm like, oh, it's so she's Phoenix. But then you realize, like, no, she can change the world at an atomic level. So she's
Mhm.
Scarlet Witch. She's basically that level character. Scarlet Witch,
You know,
Phoenix, yeah,
crossed with a Green Lantern.
in a sense,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's because that's the way they decided to animate her powers. But yeah, like,
yeah.
And then, but like again, it's also one of those things. Is
Ooh, that's a good one. Sorry, I'm gonna bring that up since I reacted to it. Yeah,
he was like Molecule Man. Yeah.
Yep. Good comment there, Frosty. Absolutely. And Frosty also says, and I'm sorry, I'm going to jump in here, Dave. It is a lot going on. And he's right, and you're right. There is a lot going on, but the series is far from over. So yeah, they're going to introduce us because what's the main storyline here? The impending Viltrumite invasion of Earth. But yeah, they've got the subplot between Eve and Mark, but again, that's nowhere near being done. And then you've got these technicians, I think is their actual name.
Yeah, the technicians
that go from serving the weird brain guy to, okay, we'll fucking put you back together, but guess what? You do what the fuck we want now.
Right.
And he agreed to that. And then the demon thing, which I still don't like. I must have not remembered something because I'm like, what the fuck is this all about? But you're right. It's got this demon thing that's like maybe could punk the Viltrumites, but the series is far from over. And so I think that this series is not afraid to say, hey, we're going to drop this in here and you're going to need to remember it because we're going to come back to it later. But we just want to drop this in here because I never read the comics. I'm assuming that it's following the comics and the comics kind of dropped that to foreshadow in there for you. Like that one episode was a whole, they call it the Viltrumite War or whatever.
Yeah.
With all the marks, attacking. So, it does have an interesting pace. I'm enjoying all of that because honestly, it's the whole Viltrumite thing. But like in this season, the main thing that revealed to me was that because, like you were saying, like, why don't the Viltrumites, if they want Earth, why don't you just fucking take it? Well, because there's only like 50 of the motherfuckers out there. So now we're like, oh, we actually have two sides here that can fight this, war.
Well, and that's the thing too, right? We talked about this last time. They have hinted at there are people that are strong as them that could fight them. And they definitely showed that in this season too. There was the beast guy, I don't remember his name, the
Battle Beast,
like he's almost as strong as them. Obviously Alan the alien is can go toe to toe with them now. You got Mark, and it's like, okay, and if there's only 50 of them, then yeah, that gives them a fighting chance. But again, it's drips and drabs. It's like that's the overarching storyline that just doesn't seem to die. And then there's like weird things in the show too, like that kind of bugged me. So Conquest shows up, he's fighting him, and right before, like right near the end of the fight, he whispers in Mark's ear, like, I'm lonely, I'm so good at my job that no one wants to talk to me, they're all afraid of me. Like, why are you trying to throw a line in to make this character sympathetic right near the end of the fight? Like, I don't care. I just saw him like try to kill everyone and destroy the world. No one cares about his one line at this point. It doesn't work. If you saw him hesitate,
I don't think they're trying to make him sympathetic. I don't think that was the purpose of that.
Well, that's what it felt like, and it was just like, this is dumb. It doesn't work for me. It just felt like a dumb line. Like it was just, I don't know.
I mean, it's out of nowhere, but that character is like, because the thing with Viltrumites, and I don't know if this has been explained properly in the show, but I just happen to know that with Viltrumites, the older they get, the stronger and like more maniacal they get, and like Conquest is like the oldest one. So he's just super arrogant and just loves putting people through misery. I don't want to give the character any sympathy either. Absolutely fucking not. In fact, I think Mark is fucking dumb for not like making sure that he was dead.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's another problem too, right? Because
Or at least would
I,
stay
I,
dead.
I said one of my issues with Mark is he doesn't seem to learn. He keeps
No, but
making a
he's
lot of
a kid still.
he keeps making the same mistakes over and over again. And then two, um, that like Cecil doesn't seem to learn either. Why the hell would
Well,
you, I
yeah,
don't care. I don't care if you think it's going to help or not. You don't keep Conquest alive. Like that was so
that is
stupid.
dumb. That is
You
a
know.
character stupid. Like, but people do that in fiction. They do. Don't open that door. Don't go down the hallway. They
I
still
mean,
do it anyway.
it's the whole like classic argument of comic books are the second act. So like the stories, if the story resolved, then the hero would be done, and that would be it. There would be no more story, right? I get that, but like some of the threads can resolve. You don't have to keep them all going over and over again. And then the other thing I wanted to point out in episode 7 is if I hadn't seen Gambit do it much better in X-Men 97,
Yeah,
Rex Explode's death would have been a little more impactful. But like, oh come
yeah.
on, we just saw this already.
Like, yeah, I totally agree with that. But to be completely honest, the Invincible, and I'm not saying I know the comic, and if he did this in the comics, so I guess I'm kind of assuming he did that in the comics.
I would
That
assume so,
does
yeah.
predate X-Men 97, but outside of that, you're absolutely, that's exactly what I thought in my head. Like, really, we're gonna do the whole Gambit, like, because I don't mind the character parody. I don't mind that Rex Explode is this universe's Gambit.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever. I don't care about that at all. I seem to be enjoying it, but yeah, that's a little too on the nose.
Well, you did enjoy it. Now he's dead, so it doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, he was a character I didn't like, but I guess you can say, like, whatever. When it came down to it, he said, fuck it, ride or die. Give him that.
Yeah. So I mean, again, not the worst show on TV, but I
Okay,
don't know if
I
it's like
am surprised. So let me ask you some questions, Dave. I'd
okay,
like to interview you here
okay.
as someone that came. So, and these are simple. So, are you interested in where the story is going?
I would have to defer to my lawyer for that. No. Um, I'm interested in Alan's story, and
Okay.
and if he's successful, and
Okay.
I'm interested in Eve's story. That's it.
Yeah. Did you see the one shot of Eve? She has like her
No, I didn't
own.
watch that yet.
Okay,
I
you'll
have
definitely
said that
want
I do need to watch that. Um,
to. Especially talking junk about Invincible. JD Oliva joins the chat, ladies and gentlemen, on Facebook. Dave is streaming from the seventh circle of hell.
yeah.
As,
I'm see JD. You've missed a lot because Don is blue, then I chose to be red. So it's red and blue. We're counterparts. It's a
red
whole
versus
thing.
blue.
Red versus blue, exactly. Red always wins. Uh, you're welcome to join us, JD. We're gonna be talking Doomsday in a minute. But
Yeah,
yeah,
no
so
shit, man. Hop on for real. Um, okay, well, I'm surprised that you're not enjoying it.
I wouldn't
Well, I mean,
say
yeah, no, are you enjoying it? Right. No, let me not skip. I went ahead
I wouldn't
before I.
say I hate is a strong word. So I wouldn't sit there and say I hate it. I don't think it's the best, and I do think that's part of the argument too, right? And we've been through this before, and JD can even attest to this, where everyone builds something up. Oh, you gotta watch, you gotta watch, you gotta watch. It's so great. And
Yeah.
then when you finally watch it and it's not like blowing your mind, you're like, why is everyone so hype about this? So like that's the thing. And like again, I see flaws in the show from the aspect of like, we talked about the whole sympathy for the devil thing. Um,
Sorry.
You know what, JD? It's easy from the cheap seats.
If I'm going to react to comments, I should at least bring them up. JD says that I can attest to Dave hating everything.
What I was going to say was, so like, there's definite flaws in it, but not so bad that obviously I won't watch it anymore.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've got to see what happens with this demon in season 4. I got to see what happens.
He like threatened to eat the messenger. You know, like, I'm going to eat you. Why'd you come down here?
Well, that was what from the first season.
Was it? Maybe I didn't remember. See, you have he
didn't have his trench coat and hat on.
Ah, that's right. Hellboy. Right. Okay. Right.
Yes.
I remember thinking, oh, they're doing Hellboy too. But again, I like that aspect of it.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the same character. So, yeah, but the guy who said he was going to eat him was a new character. So yeah. So I will definitely watch the next season. I don't hate it, but it's not X-Men 97. It's not. It's not. I'm trying to think of another cartoon that I really loved. It's not Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, even though I never went back and watched it again, so I can't tell you.
Don't do that. Held up.
No? Okay.
Don't do that.
I'll let it live in my memory as like one of the best cartoons ever. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I think okay. If I was going to rate, I'll just rate season 3 too, right? Let's do that.
Yep.
Honestly, I would give it probably 8 out of 10.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
Again, not
I think
terrible,
that's reasonable.
But I want to see some I want to see some resolution to these storylines.
Yeah. I think you will. Oh, JD jumping over to YouTube and saying, remember the episode of Seinfeld with the red light in Kramer's apartment? Absolutely.
Yes, exactly. That's the whole point. I'm on no sleep, Jerry.
He wants
no sleep.
Right. He wants you to light your face.
I did send JD the email. I always send it to him and John in case they want to jump on. So, all right. Well, that's enough of. Well, wait. What do you give season 3?
Oh, 9 out of 10 all day. You know, I'm a power porn guy.
That's the other thing. Like, that was the okay. Hold on. That was the other thing too, because it was like,
hold up.
They did the whole him holding onto Invincible and running him through people as they explode, which they did. JD saying he didn't check the email when he was on the show, bastard. Which is what they did in season 1 with his father, right? Like,
yes, that's how they sell that you're a bad guy in this show.
But it's like, it's overkill. It really is.
But sometimes you need that, Dave. Like in this Star Wars campaign that I'm running, I guess we're going on a tangent here. I'm sorry, but like I'm really trying to sell to the party that like the Yuzon Vong are bad, and you should, and so like they kind of like, I don't know, they kind of like didn't care about them, and so I literally had them throw another planet at another one and destroy it. You know what I'm saying? Like, got your attention now. Like, so sometimes you got to do that. But don't get me wrong. I don't like the gore. That's actually something I could really do without, and I wish they wouldn't sell it as much in the show. But I take it along with everything else. But that's not my favorite part of the thing either. Right? If we could not just have all, like you said, the mass killing of humans to prove a point, that would be great. Right? Yes.
Maybe I want to look like Beelzebub. That? So all right. Well, yeah, that's our take on Invincible. Everyone can stop asking us to watch it now until it comes out next season.
Yes, but more importantly, is next season we're going to be up on it, and then
yes. I also will watch the special. Maybe we'll talk about that next time we're all together. So, all right. Well, on that note, speaking of good versus evil. here is Darth Don to tell you more about Superhero Speak and where you can find even more.
Darth Don here. And you must subscribe to Superhero Speak if you haven't already. And if you have already, make another account and subscribe again. You also will like this video. And while you're on the HoloNet, go to superheroespeak.com. Find the links to our merch and purchase one of our shirts. Don't skimp on the shipping, or else I will trap you in a box with an agitated Gundog named Brie Larson. I would just force lightning you, but we don't have that in the effects budget. Now, back to the show.
Got to work on that effects budget. All right. You know what? I think maybe we. You know what? Let's just. Let's just talk about some news. All right, wrong layout. That's a little better. I only have two news stories to talk about this week. We mentioned at the top of the show. The first one is it hasn't been confirmed yet, but it's been making the rounds. There's a scooper on the internet who has released information like this before and it turned out to be true in the past. Bradley Cooper will be joining the DCU as Jor-El in the upcoming Superman movie. Apparently, he's only in the beginning of the movie, obviously, and he's the one that puts baby Superman, I guess, in the ship and sends him off. And which tells me, are they doing, the origin, even though they said they weren't doing the origin? I don't know. I mean, because they did say it's a younger Superman who isn't as established on this Earth. I know that was one of the things that came out. So, I guess the question is, what do you think of this casting choice as Jor-El?
Yeah, this is the guy that voices Rocket Raccoon, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that is strange. Like, I guess I at least hope if they do this, we get him like trying to steal somebody's robotic arm. I don't know. I don't know. Like, does this
Hangover
dude just
movies?
Right. Does he sound like that all the time, like Rocket Raccoon? Like, is that how the guy just sounds, or is he putting on a voice?
I think he's putting a voice on for Rocket. So
okay.
I don't think you're gonna look at him and say, "Oh, that's Rocket as Jor-El." No, I don't think that's an issue.
Okay, all right. God, that was the only thing that I thought of. Like, what? Rocket Raccoon is Jor-El? Like, it's just a man. And that's I can just hear Jor-El like, "Hey, get him in the spaceship. We gotta go. The whole planet's gonna explode." Like, oh, okay. But okay, if he's putting on a Rocket Raccoon voice, and why not? Who cares? Because you're right. He's probably not even going to talk. It's probably just going to be like a little 10-minute montage of Krypton and how he got here.
That's my guess as well. Yeah, like
even if you're not doing an origin, you got to at least throw that in there. Just I don't know, in case they're for the 3 people on planet Earth that don't understand where Superman comes from.
Yeah. It's is it the like Stan Lee said, you always got to treat the comics like it's someone's first comic. Got to treat it like someone's first Superman movie.
Yeah,
I mean, it's possible. Pardon me, it's possible parents bring in their younger kids who don't know who Superman is. So, his Rocket is a version of his face character. Yeah, that's true. I completely forgot that was a thing. The 18 movie. Remember that?
No.
You never saw it? We might have to, do a retro review.
What? Nobody wants to see. No, nobody's searching on YouTube for that.
No.
No. I assure you.
Oh, okay. Maybe. So yeah, that's I don't have a lot to say about it. Other than, he's a local boy. He's from Jenkintown, which is the next town over from where I live. And
nice.
So local boy does nice is always a good thing. And hold on. My computer just went crazy for a second. Sorry.
All right, we're still good.
And in fact, actually, my daughter got married in New Hope, which is a town not far from here. It's like a small little town that's kind of got like an old feel to it. And Frosty says not at all in reference to the I'm sure that was to the 18 reference. What I was gonna say is the my mind just went blank. Oh, the inn where she got married, there's a creek or like a stream right behind it, and there's a running track along the stream. And the inn keeper was telling us that you'll see Bradley Cooper jogging there in the morning a lot of times. That's because, sorry if I'm letting any information out, but yeah, like he lives in New Hope most of the time when he's not working. So yeah, they said you'll see him jog by there in the morning a lot. So, and so yeah, I'm just happy his local boy does good. So,
we dig it. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. That was the only other additional news story I had because we got to talk about something. In fact, you know what? We're actually going to take it's like about a minute and a half break here. Because let's just play the video that everyone's been.
Dave has to piss.
All right. So, yes, the cast of Marvel's Avengers Doomsday was introduced in that video that went live while we were live on Wednesday. I've seen some ridiculous versions of the video that's like hours long where they're just like sitting on one of the chairs for a long time. And like they did things where like they made Ant-Man's chair really small and so on and so forth. So it's like, okay, whatever. Like, or Paul Rudd's chair. There's a picture of the guy who's playing the Human Torch. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Where you're seeing the chairs lined up, and there's like some kind of like fire hazard sign above his chair. Ha ha ha. But let's talk about some of the people that were announced. I think there's quite a few that were announced that are like no surprise at all. Let's start with the entire cast of the Fantastic Four. If Doctor Doom is your villain your main villain in the movie, the Fantastic Four have to be involved, right? I think that's they're contractually obligated from birth, right? I
Right.
mean, like, that didn't shock you, right? You were like, okay, this makes sense
No,
to me. Yeah.
absolutely not. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, okay, fine. We got the Fantastic Four. Then all, I'll put that in quotes. All of the Thunderbolts were listed. Everyone that's going to be in the Thunderbolts movie coming out soon was listed, right? Wait.
Except for
No.
one.
Olga Kurlenko, who plays Taskmaster, was not listed in the cast that is currently playing in who are currently in production on Doomsday. So my question is that a spoiler? Because it is rumored that one of the characters dies in Thunderbolts. And it was also pointed out, and I did link to the article in our email, that there was a clip in the trailer that had her in it, and now the new trailer, it's the same scene and she's not in it.
Yeah.
So, like, was she digitally added in one, and then she got removed, and they didn't think people would notice, or what? But, like, I don't know. I kind of feel like it might be a spoiler that that's the person who dies in Thunderbolts. What do you think? And would you be upset if that's the character who dies?
Would I be upset if this dumb fucking Taskmaster dies? No, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, at least you're
And
honest.
if it somehow upsets you.
Back on. Yeah, put your tits away, because I can hear them flapping in the wind.
Okay. They totally fucked that character up, and it makes total sense to say, hey, we got to kill somebody. Well, hey, let's do the fucking Taskmaster because nobody likes this version anyway, as well as you shouldn't, because it is an abomination, it is blasphemy against the original character. That's my thoughts on that.
Frosty says, I don't think anyone, even the producers, care about Taskmaster.
Right.
You know what? I think he's right.
I need to not be able to see that character anymore because it's fucked up. That's how I feel on that.
Oh, poor Taskmaster. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. Really, I did. And then, of course, the part that got Don super stoked and super excited where the X-Men were introduced. We've got the original Cyclops. I don't remember the actors' names. I know you guys just saw the video. James Marsden.
In the Sonic movies.
That's true. Yes. Ian McKellen back as Magneto. The one that kind of Shannon Tatum back as Gambit. In fact, that's what I put on the next slide. Gambit is back. The Channing Tatum version of Gambit is back. Of course, Professor X, played by Patrick Stewart. Nightcrawler, which was interesting because he was he was in 2 movies, but he was a really minor character in the 2 that he was in. Of course, Kelsey Grammer is Beast. And Mystique. Was that it? Were there any other the X-Men?
Yes,
that was it. So, yeah, that was that. I mean, come on. This is that you. I saw you cheering as we were playing.
Are you letting me out of the cage? Are we going? Holy shit! When I was first watching that thing, I'm like, okay, we're going through all these fucking names here. This is boring. And then it says Kelsey Grammer. And I'm like, oh, okay. Kelsey Kelsey Grammer was in the Marvels or whatever, so we're getting that. Awesome. I love that casting. So anything more you can give me of that, I'm there for. And then it goes on for some non-X-Men names. And what was the next one? Patrick Stewart.
Yes.
And you're like, okay. It was in Multiverse of Madness. So he's back.
He died.
Love that casting. So great. This is awesome. And then it just starts fucking going through them. What was the guy's name? Alan Cummings. Of course, Ian McKellen as Magneto. I already mentioned James Marsden, Channing Tatum. We already Alan Cummings. Who am I forgetting? I know I'm fucking forgetting somebody. Oh, Rebecca Romaine.
Yes.
I'm so excited because, you know, I've been kind of making a joke of it here on the show as we go through these trailers and whatnot. You know, I'm just like, where's the X-Men? Where's that? Jean Grey? What? You know, but no, here it is because, and this helps me. I mean, real life, real fucking speak. This helps proves that I'm not insane because.
Wait, hold on.
Okay.
No one said you weren't insane.
Okay, true enough. But this helps me think that I'm a little bit sane because here I am thinking in my head, Disney has had the fucking X-Men properties for how many fucking years now? And you're telling me that I gotta wait another like 3 years before we're in the X-Men era? Like, this is bullshit. We got X-Men and Deadpool. We're like, okay, that's an anomaly. That's a whole and they paid tribute to the Fox X-Men to the end of that movie. So I kind of thought that was it, but I'm glad it's not. They're back.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very excited about it because it just legitimizes to me that, like, absolutely Disney are not going to fucking own the X-Men and just let them sit on the shelf for another 3 fucking years. Like, here they are.
I do wonder, what is this, the Fox X-Men? You know, like,
I believe so because I think overall, spoiler alert-ish, conjecture alert-ish, we're getting, this is how they're going to do the Avengers versus X-Men. I think the Fox X-Men is one universe. The Marvel MCU is one universe. And in Doomsday, we're going to see those universes incursions, have an incursion. And they're going to basically have to fight each other to try and get one of their worlds to survive.
okay.
Now, that's 180 degrees away from the actual Avengers versus X-Men. Not so far away from the time runs out shit that led up to Secret Wars. But that's totally where I think they're going here. And so when you said, I don't think X-Men are going to be around long. Yeah, I think they're going to maybe survive the movie. But yeah, I think maybe only a couple of them are going to be able to survive the incursion.
Frosty says, I heard something where they have to still use some of these old actors because they are still under some contract.
Wonderful. Because I think Ian McKellen's a great Magneto, although I like Michael Fassbender, and I look forward to maybe him coming back as a younger Magneto. Alan Cummings, you know, you're saying, he's not really a big deal. Okay, but he was in X2, which is absolutely like panned as the best X-Men movie of the Fox universe.
Yeah.
And I loved his Nightcrawler. And I also love the fact, one thing Fox would not do is they would not have Nightcrawler, Beast, and Mystique in the same movie. Too much blue. But here we are. Here we fucking are.
I didn't even think of that, but you're right. And it's so stupid. Like, too much blue.
Too much blue.
Such stupid rules that Fox had about the X-Men when you really think about it. That, you know, I saw a video, Hugh Jackman talking about when he first put on the yellow and blue for doing Deadpool and Wolverine. And
yeah.
he's like, I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, wow. And then, like, he said, I step outside and the crew were all like, they all like did a second take, and like, crew don't normally react to stuff like that. And I stopped and I thought to myself, how come I wasn't doing this for 24 years? Like, this feels so right. I should have been.
Yeah.
Should have been Wolverine from the beginning. And he's right, but like that was out of his control. Like Fox was like, no, black leather. I still love the dig on that in the X-Men 97 cartoon. When he hands
Yeah.
I can't think of his name. Cable, Scott hands Cable the costume, and he's like,
Yeah.
like yellow and blue. He's like, what would you prefer, black leather? So, yeah.
Right.
Best line of that show. But yeah, like the weird rules that they had. It's interesting though, because right, like I don't disagree with this is going to involve an incursion somehow. Like they set that up in Multiverse of Madness. They've talked about it over and over again, and okay, that makes sense. But then it's like, but how does this Gambit fit in? Is this the Gambit we met in Deadpool Wolverine?
I totally think he is. And they had it's always been theorized that he had like a sling ring. He got rescued by somebody. Now
right. So
how or why, who knows? I think it's Wolverine's fault. I think Wolverine eventually connects with Doctor Strange. Here we go.
Okay. So yeah. And then, I mean, it's also interesting too, right? Because we're getting the CGI, or I'm sure we're getting the CGI Kelsey Grammer Beast that we got at the end of Marvels. Like,
he should. He's getting up there. But I'm very glad he's coming back to the role, because I think no one else will do a better Beast.
Yeah. I mean, it's also one of those things like it always made sense, and he got really only one shot on screen of doing it, so yeah, this should be, it's gonna be good. All right, so I kind of got tired and didn't do slides for everything, but we're getting also, like, I want to talk about who is missing. You can't read that. That was a bad choice in color, the light green. I want to talk about who's missing, but before we get that, of course, I don't know. I kind of feel like, is this the Avengers team that Sam has putting together for this movie? So we've got, of course, Falcon, the new Falcon, Shang-Chi, Shuri, as they're everyone saying she's going to be Black Panther. I'm guessing she will be. And then, of course, Thor, Ant-Man, right? So is that, I feel like that's probably the Avengers team he assembled, and they get sucked into this. However, it's a pretty, and of course you've got Namor too coming back, which is, I thought that was an interesting thing, because it was like, well, how is he involved in this? Is it just because of the incursion?
He did have a lot to do with the comic Secret Wars.
Right.
He was part of the Marvel 616 that survived the incursion.
Yeah.
And went against Doom in the in Battle World. So that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm just kind of curious, like, I mean, since you're bringing,
he could also join the X-Men.
Yeah, he is quote unquote the first mutant. So I'm curious.
And he's straight been on an X-Men team before.
Oh, and then what's his face too? The other guy from Black Panther.
Baku.
Baku. Like, so a couple, I mean, those all make sense to a point, because I'm pretty sure Hemsworth is still under contract too. So here's the thing, right? The other person that we haven't talked about, but obviously is a key figure in anything doing with the multiverse and incursions, if you watched Loki season 2, is Loki. Like, I said it at the end of Loki season 2. You can't do a multiverse movie going forward without mentioning Loki. Like, they made him the center of all of it. So to sit there and act like that didn't happen is just going to piss fans off.
Well, I think it's going to be.
Sorry, Frosty's asked you didn't like Beast from First Class.
I didn't hate him, but I thought it was way inferior to Kelsey Grammer's. Absolutely.
Thrawn says some of the actors will be signed on as we go on. Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, like I said it, like Loki's got to be involved. What'll be interesting is, of course, he's a variant, right? He's not
the
Loki that died in Infinity War, but it's still Loki. It's a variant from the 616 universe. So are they going to have the moment with Loki and Thor meeting up again? Or are they going to have them avoid each other?
Will.
Okay.
No. You know that's coming.
Absolutely.
I like the Avengers team they got going on here. Whether we got a Thor, we got an Ant-Man, Black Panther, Captain America. I'm liking it.
No Hulk. No.
I think there's a lot of. Well, first of all, I think this is going to parody the two. What was it? Infinity War and Endgame.
Yes, we talked about that offline, but yeah, like I do think this is going to be the Infinity War where it looks like the bad guys lose at the end, and then
they win.
Right. I'm sorry, the bad guys win at the end, the good guys lose. But yeah,
Empire Strikes Back effect.
Go ahead.
One theory that I've heard that kind of makes sense, we'll see, is that the whole thing is going to be that Doctor Doom needs 3 things from the MCU in order to bring upon Battleworld. He needs Miss Marvel's bangles that, give her mutant powers, which I know she's not on the cast yet. But then they're saying he needs the 10 rings from Shang-Chi. And then he needs what was her name? America Chavez. Remember that kid, the one that can warp through realities
yes.
From Multiverse Madness. That those are the 3 things that he's going to collect in this movie that make it so that he brings upon the Secret Wars battle world.
Well, yeah, I mean that was an interesting thing too, right? Because
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah, I kept going like Shang-Chi. Like I like the character, but I couldn't think of like why is he in the movie. But it's like, okay, yeah, the 10 rings, and that makes sense. I just kind of thought Cap was looking for people that can help defend the Earth, as it were. So yeah, no, yeah, I didn't even think of it that way. You're right. That is probably right. But yeah, and then I think by the end of the movie, Doom, who, let's be honest, he's going to be a variant of Tony Stark. You can't do this. You can't have Robert Downey Jr. come back and say this is just a completely different character. Like, no. In fact, they definitely have to give us the moment where like he's in the armor for most of the movie, or at least the first half of the movie, and there's that scene where the mask comes off and they see Robert Downey Jr.'s face underneath, and they're going to be like,
oh,
yeah, exactly.
You know what's coming.
Yeah, they're going to have to do that moment.
That's the questionable thing about this trailer, is that I find myself not appreciating the fact that it's Robert Downey Jr. who's sitting in the last chair until, it's like, can the MCU not be successful if it's not somehow curated by Robert Downey Jr. or whatever? I don't know.
Again, I've said this before. I feel there's a part of me that feels like it is a little bit of stunt casting, and there is that like, oh, our last few movies haven't done well, so let's bring back the guy everyone loves. and they talk to him, and he's like, okay, but I'm going to come back as a different character and a villain, and then we're getting this, which, let's be honest, he's only going to be in the 2 movies too. It's not like he's going to, continue on as Iron Man after this. So let's put that out there right away. But I think another glaring thing with this is the characters that are missing from this, right? The characters who we know, the actors are also still under contract. They're supposed to be making more movies for them. I mean, there is the one main character who's missing, who is rumored to be an important character of the movie, and maybe there's some contractual thing with Sony. But Tom Holland, Spider-Man, like, again, there's rumors that he's in it, and that the story revolves around Peter and Doom's relationship in a lot of ways. Like, there's important things with the relationship, which makes me feel like we are getting that moment where the mask comes off, and maybe we're in a world where he lost Peter, and that's what made him turn into Doom. The putting the Iron Dome around the Earth to protect it. Dr. Doom wearing an iron suit. There's a lot of similarities with that. So just a thought. And like, maybe that's why the relationship's important. But yeah, like, he's not in the list. Good.
Well, that makes sense to me. Don't get me wrong. I think that, again, just some of the cast isn't announced yet.
Yeah.
But I'm highly suspect of them making Spider-Man like a focus in this movie, since he is still, under the control of Sony. I don't, you shouldn't focus on something you don't own. But on top of that,
yeah,
and again, this is not going to be the comic book Secret Wars, so this really probably isn't worth much. But Spider-Man really doesn't have a whole lot to do. At least Peter Parker's Spider-Man doesn't have a whole lot to do with the Secret Wars stuff. Miles Morales' Spider-Man does.
Yeah, but we don't have a Miles Morales yet.
Yeah,
in live action. Right.
Yeah, and that could be a big thing. That.
Oh,
What if this was? Yeah, let me ask you, Dave, as a Spider-Man aficionado fan, what if they introduced Miles Morales in Doomsday?
I feel like that would be a lot of heavy lifting to do the character any kind of justice, to introduce him in a movie like this. And don't get me wrong, because we did introduce Spider-Man in Civil War, and they kind of just like bypassed his origin story. But that's Peter Parker's origin story, who you had seen in 2 previous movies. This is Miles Morales' story, which is different. So to like totally blow that away and just all of a sudden, here's another Spider-Man and no explanation, I don't know. I don't think that would work. Not for the casual viewer.
What's a very popular movie that has Spider-Man in it, right? The Enter the Spider-Verse.
It's popular, but it's an animated movie. It's not as popular as a live action movie. I don't think so.
Popular with the kids, man. I'm telling you, kids love that shit. Miles Morales, kids care more about Miles Morales than they do Peter Parker. Sorry to say that to you, buddy, but as a Peter Parker guy,
you're wrong.
No, I'm not. I'm telling you. Here's why I say that, because I have nieces and nephews and stuff that really don't give a shit about comics, Spider-Man, none of that shit. But they're super into the Spider-Verse. I mean, and it's kind of the same Harley Quinn thing too, where a couple of years ago, no one gives a shit about comics, but everybody's gonna be Harley Quinn for Halloween. It's kind of on that level. So I'm telling you, with the kids, Miles Morales is big.
Well, those kids are wrong. Who else is missing? Captain Marvel. You know,
Well, listen, I don't think they want to contend with. I think they're done. You know, with the Brie Larson thing right now. I think they're done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't totally disagree with you, but like, she is, you know, they set her up as the most powerful character in the MCU, and then to not have her, it's like, okay. Also Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch, like,
That is a
and
big one.
we
I think he'll
and we
be.
know we ended Multiverse of Madness with him going after an incursion or investigating an incursion that he quote unquote
Yeah.
caused, which I feel like is going to be related to this movie. So
I
him
think it's
not
going to be
being
heavily Secret Wars. I think we might see a little bit. I think we'll get an end credit scene with Doctor Strange.
okay. And let me think. Who else? There was someone else I had in my mind that was like,
Oh, Mark Ruffalo.
yeah, we said that
Um,
Hulk. I mean, he's been a little neutered, especially
You
in the
don't see
She-Hulk
Nick
stuff.
Fury.
Yeah,
No Samuel.
this is true.
I don't know. I'm okay with that. I think we're talking about 1 to 2 universes having an incursion here. So some crazy
Yeah.
shit. Some crazy shit.
Oh, and of course, the two big guns, Deadpool and Wolverine. I mean,
Oh, they'll be, yeah.
if they
But
want to if they want this to be a $10 billion movie, you bring in
right.
you bring in Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds as part of this story, and
I
then
don't know, man. Something tells me they're not included in the original vision of this arc here.
I can't imagine that the X-Men were included in the original arc of this vision of this, you know, arc as well. So, you know, I mean, because think about it, right? Like they let Ryan Reynolds and everyone use Deadpool and Wolverine to kind of put an end cap on the X-Men Fox universe, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh no, we're bringing them back one more time," you know, and it's like, okay.
We don't know that for sure. It could be a different universe is very similar.
Right? Yeah, but you got to give the people what they want.
Actually, I kind of hope that is the Gambit we get. I kind of hope that we didn't get the Gambit from Deadpool and Wolverine because I didn't like the fact that he had the wrong eyes. Like Gambit has like black eyes with like pink pupils. But that's a nitpick.
Yeah.
I know.
Frosty says Thor surpassed Captain Marvel as the strongest in his last god awful movie. Did he? What did he do? I'm trying to remember what he did in Love and Thunder. What could be considered, like
I don't know. People really don't seem to like that movie. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if you really don't like him teaming up with the kids. Remember, he teamed up with the kids.
Right, and he gave them all. He enhanced all their weapons. That was
yeah. I didn't mind that. You know, they could have done more with gore, but I don't know.
Oh,
I didn't hate that movie.
And look, and I know there's like weirdness with Dave Bautista, but like no one from the Guardians either, right? No.
Oh yeah, and we've seen like footage, right? Supposedly, allegedly, of Chris Pratt's Star-Lord sitting next to Vision.
Yes,
I think that's what it was.
Yeah, that was in the leaked concept art.
Yeah,
the White Vision. It was Star-Lord.
I don't think they reviewed everything. I think their whole purpose of this was for the X-Men thing, honestly, because we all assumed the Fantastic Four would be there. Thunderbolts, right? Maybe that second line of characters there threw us off a little bit, but I think this is more, hey, we're gonna have the X-Men here.
Yeah. I mean, again, none of the Avengers are a surprise. The Fantastic Four aren't a surprise. The Thunderbolts were a little bit of a surprise for me. Like, I don't know. I felt like they were doing this movie as like an experiment, but they must have confidence that people are going to like it. So,
well, I bet you they also have the option to, like, if Thunderbolts comes out and fucking tanks, I'm sure they're going to reduce the screen time of the Thunderbolts. They have that
Yeah.
option, so I'm sure they're hedging their bet that way.
Yeah, I mean, I like David Harbour's Red Guardian, and I like,
Yes, I do too. It's funny as hell. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, I like to see what what's his face does as the captain and or U.S. agent. I'm sorry. So yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see. And then of course, Sentry, like, that's interesting too because it feels like they're definitely showing Sentry as a villain in the
Yeah,
Thunderbolts movie. Then
which I think is going to lead to him being nerfed for this movie.
yeah, that's what I feel like too. So, um, Thrawn says Thunderbolts are Timu Suicide Squad.
That they are. That they are.
Uh,
Esteemed member Thrawn Kill, by the way.
when you try to order your Avengers on Wish and you get the Thunderbolts.
Exactly.
So, all right. So this is interesting. I am kind of curious what people think. I do think, yeah, we're gonna get because I also kind of feel like there are going to be characters who show up at the end that are like the hope for
Yeah.
beating Doom, right? And that leads to Secret Wars. And is that going to be Spider-Man and Strange and a couple other characters? Maybe I don't know. Maybe a young Avenger or two. Who knows? Just to bring in some young blood as well. So
yeah.
So we'll see. Again, let us know in those comments down below, and we'll maybe we'll discuss it in the next episode. So that's all I got to say about that. So let us ask that utmost important question that we ask every show.
What did we learn on the show tonight?
So Don, what did you learn, or do you have any recommendations, or both?
I learned that because of the hype surrounding the Invincible show, and maybe it made it a little bit tougher for you to get into it.
Little bit.
And I understand that because I kind of had that experience with Game of Thrones. Although
There you
ultimately I felt it was a pretty good TV show, but it really did take me a few years to even consider it because it's all the fuck anyone would talk about. And that does actually annoy me when it's not Marvel or Star Wars or something. What do I recommend? I recommend Andor Season 1 and Ahsoka Season 1. And I say that because they're good, A.
Mm-hmm.
B, I don't know. I was just sitting there thinking today, like, I know that it's kind of a fun thing to bag on Star Wars on the internet. But the new Kathleen Kennedy Disney Star Wars really has given us two characters that I feel are very interesting and compelling and I really like. And that is, of course, Baylan Skoll from Ahsoka and Luthen from Andor. Both characters obviously don't survive until the sequel trilogy. I don't know how obvious that is, but still two characters that I'm really, really, really enjoying. And I was just thinking, like, you know what? People like to shit on new Star Wars, but honestly, these are two probably the most interesting characters in a while since like Darth Maul, Darth Vader. I don't know. So check that shit out and open up your mind.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I think I'll echo your recommendation. Watch Andor Season 1 because Season 2 will be coming out next month, and we probably will end up talking about it on this show because there aren't a lot of other shows.
I'm going to talk about it.
Exactly. So there you go. And we're done with Invincible.
Yep.
I learned that just a simple release of a cast list for an anticipated movie. Frosty really likes Andor. He doesn't say anything about Ahsoka though. That just a simple release of a cast list can create theories about a movie, because when you're getting this far in a franchise and you have established characters and you know who they are, like the shorthand is, yes, you do use the versions of all those characters we're familiar with. So, the X-Men, these Avengers. The only wild card is Doctor Doom, right? Like, he's the only new character in that list, in the sense of we don't know what Robert Downey Jr. is going to do with the character and how they're going to characterize him and what his story is going to be. So, like, yeah, other than that, you kind of can get a feel of like what this movie is going to be, and it might give you spoilers for other movies of characters dying. So yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm the most excited about, just before we kind of end this topic. And well, yeah, I guess we're already ended the topic, but
yeah,
I just want to see. I'm happy to see Cyclops, and I want them to do more of an X-Men '97 Cyclops, and not the the guy that Wolverine makes fun of. Cyclops.
All right. I know we're trying to end the show, but
pulling it back in.
But here's the thing too. Cyclops died.
Yes, ish.
I know they erased it in Days of Future Past.
Absolutely, exactly.
But
in fact, and that's the other exciting part about this, Dave, is that they could very well do something in this that like completely fixes everything that's fucked about the Fox.
I kind of feel like it's the end credits or end cap Days of Future Past X-Men.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. 100%.
Because people are alive. Mystique is still Mystique. She wasn't cured. So, like, yeah, Mystique was cured, and Cyclops was killed, and so yeah, and so was Professor X. Until Days of Future Past erased all that. So yeah, we shall see. I also recommend that if you have gotten this far in the show and you haven't done so yet, please, here it is, hit that subscribe. I haven't done this in a while. Hit that subscribe button. Click that bell for notifications so you don't miss us when we go live on Wednesday and Sunday nights right here on this channel. Smash that like button because it really does help with the algorithm. Gets the show out there even more. Leave a comment or two because it's a really nice thing to do. And if you're so inclined, check out our merch store. Link is in the description below. There is usually merch linked on our videos as well. Get yourself a Superhero Speak t-shirt. They're so stylish, wonderful. That drives the ladies nuts if you're a guy. Drives the guys nuts if you're a lady. I'm telling you. Everyone loves these t-shirts. Get yourself one. Show your fandom, and that's it. That's all I got. So, on that note, boys and girls, that's the button I want. On that note, girls, I'm a little bit tired. As always, thanks for watching. Don't let your cape be caught in the door. See you next time.
If you haven't done so yet, subscribe. It really keeps this podcast alive. Smash the like button if you please. It gives us what we need. Maybe leave a comment or two. It's a really nice thing to do. And what are you waiting for? Visit our merch store.